Om Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Dehaye Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Om Namah Pranavarthaye Shuddha Jnanaikamurtaye Nirmalaya Prashantaye Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Bhadram Karne Vishruniyama Devaha Bhadram Pashye Makshabhir Yajatraha Sthirairangai Shushtvagam Sastanubihi Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuhu Swasti na Indro Vruddhashavaha Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedaha Swasti nastaksho Arishtanemihi Swasti no Brahaspatir Dadatu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Yesterday, we saw how humankind looks at what he or she wants, every human being. Animals don't have the issue, devas don't have the issue. Only human beings have a question about what they want. And we arrive at some conclusion. What I want is to graduate from college and I will be very happy. And after graduation, what I want, it doesn't stay the same. It changes. What I want is to get a job, then I'll be very happy. You get a job, then it still doesn't stop there, it changes. I want a promotion, then I want to get married, then I want children, I want to buy a house, I want all of this. The refrain is, if I have that, I'll be happy. If I have a house, I'll be happy. If I have a car, I'll be happy. But as we saw, it never works that way. The refrain is, I will be happy. Is that I want to be happy. Nobody can say, no, 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 I want to be unhappy. If that's a conundrum. If somebody says, I want to be unhappy, we ask him, are you unhappy? Yes, I'm unhappy. But I want to be unhappy. So if you're getting what you want, then you'll be happy, no? Are you unhappy or happy? That's a very silly argument. So every human being is looking for that happiness which is unbound, infinite. I want to be happy all the time. I want to be happy everywhere. I want to be happy whether I have a house or I don't have a house. I want to be happy whether I have a job or I don't have a job. I want to be happy whether I get food or only ordinary food. Fact is, I want to be happy. And we saw Tad Vijnanartham Gurmeva Vigachet. How am I going to do that? As long as I am seeking this want of wanting to be happy all the time, everywhere, under all conditions, as long as we're looking for it outside, it is never going to be complete. We have been talking about a simple number analysis. If you can translate everything, all kinds of happiness, all kinds of sukha that you can gain onto a scale, which is only numbers, you might estimate that today I am on the scale of happiness at 100. Then I work, and I work, and I work, and I work, and I very hard. I keep within dharma. I raise it 1,000,000,000 times. I am now on that scale at 100 billion. When you are 100 and we are now at 100 billion, you're exactly as far away from what you want, which is infinite happiness, as you were at 100. Very easy to understand. Therefore, I raised from 100 to 100 billion through a lot of effort. But what you want cannot be gained by putting more effort. Any amount of effort I put in, any amount of prayer I do, is going to get me only a finite happiness, relative happiness. What I want is infinite happiness. So however far I might move on that scale, I am going to remain as far away from what I want as I was in the beginning. Because this is akritat. That akritat, that which is not gained by any karma, kritena na labhyate. By doing, I'm never going to gain that. I will gain something for sure. Every doing has a result. A work, an effort, a karma will have an effort, will have a result. We know that every result that we have must have a cause, and every cause must produce a result. Every action must produce a result. But that result is not the result that we are looking for. I'm not saying that result is not to be worked towards. We have to work towards the result, which is good. Shastra does not at any point say don't do that. Shastra only says wake up and recognize that is not really what you want. I want that. I'm okay with it. But what my goal is something different. Therefore, what I do and what I want have no connection at all. We only recognize that I want to do this so to gain this. I want to do this to gain this. Absolutely fine. But how am I going to gain what I really want? To gain this, like we said yesterday, is only possible if that which I seek, I am that. That which I seek, I am that. I am that ananda. I am that sukha. I'm looking for it all over the place. Like the fellow who was searching for something on the streets. And somebody else came to help him. And the second person came, and the third person came, and they were all looking very seriously. Till finally one fellow asked, listen, what are you looking for? He said, I lost my needle. I said, where did you lose it? He said, I lost it inside my heart. But why are you looking at here? Looking for it here. Yeah, there's light here. No? There's no light in my heart. This is what we're doing. We're looking for it not where it is, but elsewhere. Swami, you say that Shastra does not tell you not to look for these things. It says go ahead and look. Go ahead and look for that apekshika sukham. But with the recognition of what it is and what it is not. This infinite sukham, if it is I, if I am the Ananda Swarupa, how am I going to find it? No karma is going to give me that. Where am I going to get that from? It is simply knowing that I am Ananda Swarupa. It's only knowledge. No amount of karma is going to get you there. And how do I recognize that? How do I know that? There is only one source of knowledge to recognize the nature of I being infinite. Infinite means I am Ananda. Why do I say that? If I am infinite, there is nothing more I can gain. I'm infinite. And if I'm infinite, there's nothing to do. Therefore, this Ananta, infinite, has to be Ananda. And we feel this every now and then. See, this is the key thing about a human being. Every now and then, we sense this. The example I like to use is when you've had a wonderful meal with a lot of friends, at the end of the meal, you sit back and say, I am full, I am complete, I don't want anything else. I get that feeling that I am complete, I am Purna. And every once in a while we recognize this. In the laugh of a baby. I heard another Swami G say, give me another example. When you are bindas singing in the bathroom, you're not thinking of anything else. You are with yourself, complete. That Ananta, that Ananda, they're the same. It looks logical, Swamiji, but how do I know? How do I know about this? If I am going to use the same five senses which are used for learning about anything in the Jagat, because that's all I know. I know that I have these five senses as my pramana, pratyaksha pramana, to gain knowledge of anything in the Jagat. I sometimes enhance it thanks to science and technology. My eyesight can be extended, my hearing can be extended. And therefore, if I use the same senses or derivatives of the same, anumana, upamana, arthapatti, anupalabdhi, We've seen these earlier. They're all based on the same pratyaksha. I'm never going to be able to understand this. Therefore, I have to find another means of knowledge, another pramana. And that pramana available to us is the Shastra, Vedanta. The entire Veda is a pramana. That Veda is a pramana. Some of it is verifiable in the Karma Kanda when it says, you do this, you get this result. Can be verified. Some of it is non-verifiable. The Karma Kanda says, if you do this, you will go to Svargaloka or any other loka. But that going is after the body falls. Therefore, you don't know. Nobody goes there and comes back and tells me, yes, I found it. It was right. Or it was wrong. There's no second coming. Therefore, some of these are non-verifiable. At the same time, you can't reject it. There is no way I can say it is not correct because it's non-verifiable. So all this is there in the Karma Kanda. You do this, you get the result verified, check it out. It is like saying, I go to a travel agent and get a brochure. And he says, you go to this place, it's beautiful beaches. So you pay a lot of money and go to those places, go to the beach and find that it's full of plastic. Verified. A pramana must have as its subject matter its sphere of operation. Like the eyes have color and form, ears have sound and so on. If you have to figure out the nature of I, the subject, I need a pramana. And that pramana is the end portion of the Veda called Vedanta, whose subject matter is you, who tells you about what is your real nature. At first reading, it doesn't look right because it seems to contradict what I know or what I think I know. Therefore, Shastra says, listen, I know it will contradict whatever you think you know. Therefore, please do Shravanam again and again and again. And when you've done Shravanam, automatically your mind will process that. Because you will see the contradictions, apparent contradictions. It tells you tattvamasi. That's enough. That's all the teaching. There's no other upadesha. You are that. You are Ishvara. That doesn't gel because I know I'm not Ishvara. Ishvara is somebody else. Ishvara is sitting in Kailasha or Vaikuntha or wherever. How do I understand this? Therefore, the first step in that is Shraddha. Shraddha is not faith. You would have heard that sentence many times. Shraddha is acceptance that this is a pramana. Therefore, what it says, I have to examine very carefully, even if it contradicts what I think I know. Shastra also says, that to know this, because the mind is already filled with so many other things, you have to remove or put aside, not even remove, a lot of those which is really unnecessary stuff. Don't throw it out. Keep it aside. That is Shraddha. I know there's something there. I'm not rejecting what I think I know. I'm going to study that very carefully, and then I'm going to examine where the differences are. That is called mananam. Removal of all doubts. It says, continue to do shravanam, continue to do mananam. It doesn't say give up all your other desires. You're a whole Shastra defines life in different stages. As a brahmachari, as a grahastha, as a vanaprastha, and finally as a sannyasi. As a brahmachari, when one starts life, after the age of about 6 or so, the primary goal at that stage in life, Shastra says, is pure study, learning. Everything else is secondary. So we had a system of Gurukulam. The child would go and stay at the Gurukulam with the Guru. And initially, simply learn whatever Veda has to say by rote. In whichever language you learn, we learn the tables. Do, do, nicha, do, tiya, che, do, chake, ah. This is what we do in Hindi or in English. 2 2 is a 4, 2 3 is a 6, or Tamil, or any other language. Child doesn't understand what he's learning. Simply by rote. And then as the child grows up and starts interacting with the world, things begin to fall in place. What do you mean when you say 2 times 5 is 10? So that is a learning system. At that stage, the focus is only on learning. After having learned all the Vedas, if not all, at least the one Veda which is part of your family, that is the tradition. Each family had a Veda that they would follow. Both the Karma Kanda and the Jnana Kanda. Some families did more than one. As a tradition, so they became Dvivedis, or Trivedis, or Chaturvedis, or Banerjee, or Chatterjee. But at least one, your family Veda, completely learned that. Again, we have lost that tradition. What we're trying to do is pick up at least the portion of the Veda which I really need to know, which is Vedanta. The Anta portion of Veda. Then they go into the next stage of life when they are ready, after they've done their stint as a brahmachari, they become a grahastha. They get married, become productive parts of the society, the part that supports brahmacharis, as well as the later 2 stages of or ashramas. And both for brahmachari and for the grihastha, karma kanda prescribes a lot of karma. Agnihotradi karma. And having discharged one's duty as a grihastha, where one has followed all the karma as prescribed in the karma kanda, one has come to a stage of maturity and having a productive part of the society when they are ready to go into more contemplative mode. They don't want to be hassled by day-to-day issues. They want to spend more time thinking about what Shastra says. This is the third stage of maturity. But they are available for the other two stages, brahmacharya and grihastha, but they pull out of the day-to-day activities and go to what is called vanaprastha. Vanaprastha literally means to leave for vana, forest. You don't have to take it literally, today's world, but find a quiet corner, even the house itself, where they hand over all the keys to the son and the daughter or daughter-in-law. All their family day-to-day affairs are taken care of by them, but they're available for guidance. This stage, there are a few prescribed karma for them, not as many as the grihastha has, leaving more time for contemplation. And eventually, they move to the stage of being a sannyasi. In English, we call it renunciate. One who has renounced all that the world has to give. Tyagi. But really, if you look at it, the sannyasi does not give up anything as we understand tyagam. The word give up or tyaga indicates that there is still some kind of a desire for that. But I give it up because of various other reasons. A sannyasa is not giving up. Sannyasa is attaching yourself to something higher. By this time, having completed those three stages, three ashramas, once maturity is complete, one recognizes that artha, kama, and dharma, while they have their role, that is not going to be satisfying enough. And therefore, their focus becomes entirely on gaining that knowledge which leads or which is Purnatvam, and that is my nature. That is me. That's I. Therefore, they know that what they have to do is to gain that knowledge. Jignasu, Yatum Ichuhu. And their single pointed focus is gaining that. Not that they will not enjoy a mango if they like a mango. Nobody stops them doing that. But that is not their priority. That's not what they want really. They know what they want. They are people who are clear that that knowledge is what I want. And that knowledge is the one that will free me from everything else. all that I think binds me, I'll be freed of that. I'll be mukta. They know that. By this time, they've done enough Shravanam and Mananam to understand that freedom is only gaining this knowledge of the fact that I am free. That bondage that I thought I was struggling against is only an imagined bondage. This level of maturity comes because they recognize that anything that I gain in this Jagat is temporary, is not fulfilling, atripti, is full of dukkha, the counterpart of sukha. I will get what sukha I can get, relative sukha, I have no problem with it. Therefore, I'm not giving any importance to these things. So he renounces that in the sense that he says that is not important to me. We do this in life all the time. I've used this example earlier, but it's very interesting. When I was about 7, 8 years old, my parents had taken me to listen to some katha in Hanuman Mandir in Delhi. Irwin Road, Hanuman Mandir, big Hanuman Mandir. Every Tuesday, there'll be big. And when that happens, there'll be a huge bazaar there in the temple. And as we were coming back from that, I saw one little fellow selling a small tin boat in which you put a little camphor and that exhaust drives that. It's like this. I was so fascinated that I begged my parents to buy me this. They negotiated with that guy, and I think, I don't remember what the price was, 1.5 rupees or 2 rupees or whatever the price was. And they said, no, it was too much. I had a longing for that. We have a longing for a lot of things in life. But last time I went to some temple, I saw this again. So I bought one just to show how all our longings can drop off because you attach yourself to something higher. Today, I don't have the same longing for this. There are many things that each one of you would have gone through at various stages of life and said, I can't do without it. Today, it has no value to you because there is something bigger, something higher that you attach yourself to. This is what eventually the stage when one reaches, one gets to be a sannyasi. The world looks at a sannyasi and says, oh, what a great guy. He's given up all sukha. He's given up his very successfully running business. He has no value for them anymore. But the world still has value. So the sannyasi at that ashrama starts initially as a vividisha sannyasi. Vividisha is veditum ichha, wanting to know. Wanting to know what? Wanting to know that one knowledge, knowing which I am completely freed from all the sukha dukkha of the Jagat. All the apparent bondage all the things that I don't want. I'm freed of all of that. That knowledge is what the sannyasi is seeking. The same Veda, which prescribes all these karma at different stages of a growth of an individual, maturity of an individual. Brahmacharya, Grahastha, Vanaprastha. The same Veda absolves the sannyasi from all karma. No karma is required. Because karma is not going to produce the result that you want. By that time, the understanding is what I want is that knowledge. And that knowledge I'm not going to get by doing more karma. And therefore, Shastra itself allows the sannyasi to not have to do any karma. Shastra allows the sannyasi to spend all his or her time and mind share and effort in pursuing that knowledge. The difference is in the perception. The rest of the world sees the sannyasi as a tyagi. Sannyasi doesn't see himself or herself as a tyagi. He sees or she sees as one who is seeking something higher. That maturity is what is required. And we also recognize that that knowledge is going to come only from Upanishads, Vedanta. Vedanta means Upanishads. Every Upanishad tells you the same thing. Tattvamasi, Ham Brahmosmi, all mean the same thing. The recognition that I am infinite. The recognition that the body, mind, sense, that complex, Karya Karana Sanghata, is not the I that I had mistaken myself to be. And seek that I. By negating that this body cannot be I, the mind cannot be I, the senses cannot be, etc., there is a vacuum. Then what is I? And that I is what every Upanishad tells us. And that I which frees you from everything that you don't want is available only in the Upanishad. The very word Upanishad, Shankaracharya has written a wonderful little commentary on what this word is. In Sanskritam, every word is a derived word. There are only about 2000 root words called dhatus. And from that, you add certain pratyaya, prefix or suffix, to create new words. Other languages also do it, but Sanskritam is done it to perfection. That's why it's called Samskritam, Samyakkritam. And the dhatu that we use for the word Upanishad, the original dhatu, or Shadildra, the Shad and the R is there as a added, which makes a lot of things happen in grammar. Shad. Upanishad. The R goes away. R is only for, said there for creating certain action that will happen to that dhatu as you go forward. Shraddha. That itself undergoes a lot of change because of grammar. Shrad becomes Sad and becomes Shrad again. There are certain pratyayas that are added. One of the pratyayas is what converts, all dhatus are verbal roots. From that you derive verbs, and then from adding more suffixes or prefixes, it becomes noun. So here also, it adds a pratyaya called quip. In English, ER. Walk is an action, a verb. A walker is a noun, the one who walks. A talk is a verb. The one who talks is a talker. But sometimes that ER suffix you add comes, makes it a noun, and then disappears. The classic example that everybody uses is cook. Cook is a verb. What do you call one who cooks? You don't call him cooker. Because the ER comes, makes it a noun to mean one who cooks, and then disappears. Here also, the root shad gets the pratyaya, converts into a noun, and disappears. Every root has certain meaning from which the whole thing is derived. And when you add some pratyaya, the root meaning sometimes changes, sometimes gets enhanced, sometimes becomes negative. Like we have, the first root word is bhu. Bhu sattayam is the meaning. To do something. In Sanskritam we say karane, that's the meaning. But what is the root word? Kru. Actually the root is dukranj. But kru, because like all those things that do and the grinj and all go away. Kru karane. Like that, shadil shad also has three meanings. One, gatyartha. In Sanskrit, you will find many root words, meaning of which is gatau, going. Because going is such a common thing to use for many types of applications. English also we say, one of the meaning of to get it is to know. So you explain something to somebody and say, you got it? Yeah, I got it. In that sense, it's also used. One meaning is to go, here in the context of this meaning, to know. Another meaning is visarane, to disperse, to destroy. And the third meaning is avasadhane, unmuleti, removes from the very root. Whatever destroyed, removed the very root, so it doesn't come back. So what do you know? What do you destroy from the very root? To understand this, two prefixes are there. Upa and ni and shad. So upa and ni are two prefixes to the root shad. Upa is samipe, near. What is nearest to you? Near is a relative word. This computer is near me, related to the tree there. The tree is near me, relative to Madras, Chennai. Chennai is near me, relative to the moon. The moon is near me, relative to the sun, and so on. It's all relative. But upa, meaning near, it refers to what is nearest to you. What can be nearest to you? What can be nearer than you? So it is upa, samipe, that which is closest to you. And what is closest to you is you. To know what is closest to you, which means to know you, yourself. So the first meaning, gati, to know oneself. And what do you destroy? All the wrong notions that I've already stuffed my head with. I destroy them through the help of the Upanishad. That's why it is the second meaning of the word, of the root shad. And destroyed in a way that will never come back. From the very root. That ignorance is destroyed. The false notions are destroyed. Completely. Therefore, the ni in nishchayena, without any possibility of it coming back, absolutely certain of what I am learning. So the very word Upanishad indicates that it is what gives you the knowledge of yourself by destroying all the ignorance that I had and destroying it completely. And that book which contains this knowledge is also called Upanishad. So we have various Upanishads, Taittiriya Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad, Mandukya Upanishad, and so on. This is one of them, Kaivalya Upanishad. And all of them do the same thing. Remember, they allow me to gain knowledge of myself by removing the ignorance that I had developed of myself, not in this Janma alone, but in over many Janmas. And removes that ignorance totally from its very root. That book called Upanishad, the text called Upanishad, is what we are trying to study to understand the very essence of the Upanishad. Tattvamasi, which once understood completely removes all ignorance. There are these Upanishads in all of the four Vedas. Rig Veda, Atharva Veda, Yajur Veda, and Sama Veda. Of all these Upanishads that are available, about 108 are known, available today, fortunately have been preserved. There were probably many more. Of these, Shankaracharya has written commentary, Bhashyam, on 10. Although Kaivalya Upanishad is not one of the 10 where Shankaracharya has written a Bhashyam. It is a very simple but very good Upanishad to understand. And belongs to the Atharva Veda. You will generally see where you use the Shanti Mantra, the prayer, Bhadram Karne Vishruniyama Devaha, etc., are from the Atharva Veda. So the daily prayer we do, Pulayar, itself is called Ganesha Atharva Upanishad. There also we use the same mantra, Bhadram Karne Vishruniyama Devaha. If this is available, and it's so easy to recognize that it is available, why don't more people know? Arshavidyalaya. How come only so few people know? How come when you announce a class for studying Upanishads, only a handful of people come? On the other hand, you announce a class for or a puja, many more people come. In Skanda Shashti, our Mardemala is chock-up block. There's no place to put your foot. Very good. I'm not saying, but to understand what's happening. Why is it that more people don't know? Why is that more people don't make an effort to understand? There is something which is needed. There is a need for people to get ready to gain this knowledge. There's a lot of steps in that process. Whole Karma Kanda, huge section of the Veda, many people are willing to follow. Even if you cannot verify that if you do this, you will go to so-and-so loka, we have Shraddha and therefore people follow that. But where their understanding is a little lacking, it's not that it's wrong to try and get to another loka. It's right, absolutely right. But that gaining of the loka is also like gaining any other result in this world. Like buying a new car. Gives you temporary happiness. Going to Swargaloka is also temporary. A car will give you happiness for a very short time. Till the first time you have a small accident, car will give you happiness. First time you have to take it to the garage, and there's a scratch in the car. You bought a very fancy, high-priced car, and says, "No problem, sir, we'll fix it." How much would it cost? About maybe about 40,000, 50,000 rupees. What? There goes your happiness. It's short-lived. A loka may be longer-lived, but still finite, still limited, still temporary. So maybe people will go down to that lokas, enjoy that for a while and say, "My God, I have to go back." It's like going on a holiday. I go to the Maldives with the family, enjoy all the beaches, white beaches and everything else. Last day, I have to go back now. Same routine, same problems, same issues, same boss. But guys like that. You have to come back. But after having gone through this over and over again, one starts questioning. Is there a better way? So we go back to the thing we quoted yesterday. Parikshya lokan karmachitan brahman. What a beautiful understanding. That to bring that level of maturity takes a lot of effort. That takes effort. The learning doesn't take all that effort. Learning is pretty much on autopilot. Once you step into that, it's on autopilot. This Upanishad, you've heard this being chanted in every class, starts with the word atha. Atha ashvalayanaha. Atha is a wonderful word in Sanskrit. Therefore, thereafter. Even Brahma Sutra starts with this. Atha to atha, atha. After what? After a person has lived through a life as specified by the Karma Kanda, over a period of time, gone through the various ashramas, reached the level of maturity to understand that whatever I can gain through the pleasures I gain from the senses, the pleasure that I can gain from the loka, from any external source, is not what I am looking for. When that person has gained this level of maturity, atha, then you're ready for next stage of knowledge. Atha, therefore, thereafter. Thereafter means thereafter what? Thereafter. After one has gone through the fire of the Jagat, been taken a lot of beatings from the Jagat, enjoyed small gains, alpa sukha, and having enjoyed them, regret that I have to lose it. My God. All this gain I gained, even a cup of coffee gives you temporary sukha. Those who like coffee, I don't like coffee, so it doesn't give me any sukha. And then they go to bed and say, I can't sleep. Everything, when one recognizes, why take alcohol? The person who drinks alcohol thinks he is getting temporary sukha. That doesn't last, so he drinks more. That doesn't last, so he drinks some more. A person who has made a lot of money thinks he gets temporary sukha. Look at the word, thinks. But doesn't last, so he wants more. He wants more. It's something I did not understand for a long time. Only after I studied Vedanta, I understood why people cannot stop. Because it is not what they're looking for. So the one word, atha, tells us that certain preparation is required. You have to gain certain adhikaritvam to even understand that there is something to be understood. You will look at what is to be understood in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.